Hey everybody, welcome back to the Swole and Busy podcast. I can't believe it, guys. We're on episode 6. I mean, this is awesome. I really love doing this, and I'm really happy you guys are eating this up. So we're gonna hop in today's podcast, and today is a fun one, y'all. Right, today we're gonna be talking about 10 reasons why you can't build muscle. So hopefully this will help you out. 1, lack of proper nutrition. 2, insufficient calorie intake. 3, inadequate protein intake. 5, overtraining. 6, lack of consistency. 7, poor sleep quality, lazy lifestyle, lack of progressive overload, and high stress levels. Now let's move right into this. Lack of proper nutrition. What does this mean? Well, to break this down in the most simple terms possible, it simply means that you're not eating enough fruits and vegetables. So now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Aaron, that was obvious. How do I eat more fruits and vegetables? Well, there's lots of things you can do. Personally, one of my favorite things to do is, however, it is expensive, is I would suggest getting some kind of green shake. Because I don't know about you guys, but personally, I felt like I always struggled to get in enough fruits and vegetables. Especially vegetables, because vegetables, they're not very appetizing. They have a unique taste and texture. Yes, I know how to cook vegetables. However, I feel as at some point, you're not even meeting your goals because you're lacking in the amount of vegetables you need to be eating. Now, when it comes to nutrition, things such as proteins, carbohydrates, and healthy fats are very important. So when it comes to protein, my favorite source of protein is chicken. Particularly any lean kind of meat. Just chicken is one that's very affordable and it's not easy. Chicken is very simple. You slap that baby on the grill, comes out, and you just got yourself 50 grams of protein and 4 ounces of chicken. I'm sorry, I believe 8 ounces of chicken. I don't remember how much I eat. I think I usually eat 8 ounces of chicken, yeah. And 8 ounces of chicken, there's 50 grams, I believe. And when it comes to carbohydrates, the best place to get your carbs from, guys, is, most people never believe this, but it's from your vegetables. Yes, you can get it from things like bread and whole grain breads. However, vegetables are gonna be a much higher quality carbohydrate. And when it comes to healthy fats, my favorite is personally olive oil. You know, put it on everything, it's super healthy, and it tastes good. Now, when it comes to the insufficient calorie intake part, only listen to this part of the video if you've been training for a while now. If you are still a beginner and you haven't been training for more than 3 years, this probably still will apply to you. However, if you've been training for a long time, it's really gonna apply to you. Because simply put, in order for us to build muscle, we need to be in a calorie surplus. All right, so to lay this out, essentially, in order to build muscle, you need to be at least hitting your maintenance calories. So for example, for me, my maintenance is 3,000 calories per day. The reason why it's so high for my body weight and my height is because I work out 6 days a week. The more you exercise, the more food you need to meet your maintenance. So the more you train, the more your maintenance is gonna go up. For example, for me, I started playing around with the calculator. What I noticed is when I said I train 3 to 4 times a week, moderately, it said I need 2,700 calories for maintenance. And then when I said I train 6 days a week, and it went up an additional 300, and it said I need 3,000 in order to maintain my weight. Which makes sense because I remember for the longest time I was trying to bulk up, but I couldn't. And the reason why I couldn't is because I just wasn't eating enough calories. I thought I was in a calorie surplus when in reality I was not. Because originally I was consuming 2,700 calories, which I was actually in a deficit according to the calculator for how active I am. And then I went up to 3,000, so I actually started hitting my maintenance. I noticed I started becoming a lot stronger. Then from there, I increased my calorie intake by 300, so then I'm in a surplus of about a 300 calorie surplus. Then from there, I jumped up my calories even more to 500 calories additionally per day. And I just want to talk about something real quick. When it comes to your bulk, people always talk about in daily, but the reality is, if you meet your calorie goal by the end of the week, no matter what, you're going to meet your goal. So for example, for me, when I increased my calorie intake by 500 calories per day, as long as I'm eating 3,500 calories additionally by the end of the week, I'm going to gain weight. So one day I only go in a surplus of 200, and the next I go in a surplus of 800, I'm still gonna meet my goal by the end of the week. Inadequate protein intake, guys. I feel like this one always kills people because there's a big common misconception that you need to have a certain amount of protein in order to build muscle. And the reason why I say that is because if I remember correctly, the average recommendation of protein you should have is 0.8 grams of protein. Now, when it comes to protein, I feel like the main reason why a lot of people can't gain muscle or they're struggling to gain muscle is because they're consuming the suggested amount from the health department. The experts that work in the health industry, the standard recommendation is about 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight versus the bodybuilder mindset. I feel like for the most part we agree, you should be having about 1 gram of protein per pound. And even when it comes to that, I would say you're perfectly fine going off the more of a base, like you need to have 1.4 grams of protein per pound because it's better to have too much protein than not enough. If you have too much protein, you're not gonna die. 4 is just a lack of training. There's not much to say here, guys. I'm just saying, if you guys aren't training at least 3 times a week, don't be surprised when you're not seeing results. For anyone that's a beginner, I would suggest train no more than 3 to 4 times a week. That's all your body needs, because your body is not used to getting trained. It's not used to having stimulus under it. So as soon as you start putting a load under your muscles, you're gonna become sore super quickly. And because you're in the newbie gains phase, your muscles are about to explode from you literally doing nothing. Now, for my friends that have been training for a while, you guys are gonna need to train definitely with higher sets. For example, for me, I've been training almost a decade now. And personally, what I do is I train about, for each muscle group, I train about 30 to 40 sets per week. And I train using the bro split. Is it the most optimal for science? No, it's not. But does it work for me? Yes, it does. And personally, I don't mean to go on this tangent. There's always been this debate when it comes to, full body versus push-pull legs versus the bro split versus the Arnold split versus all these other splits that no one even gives a damn about. But the reality is, guys, if it works for you, keep on doing it. I don't care what anybody says. Don't let somebody guilt you into telling you that what you're doing isn't scientifically effective. If your body's growing, who gives a damn what the science says? But that's just my interpretation. Do what you want. Overtraining. So what is overtraining, you may ask? Overtraining is the idea that you're putting your body under so much stress, so much muscle breakdown, that whenever your body is supposed to be recovering, you're breaking down the muscle again, so it doesn't have enough time to actually recover. If that makes sense. So basically, to make this easy to comprehend, your body needs time to rest. The hard part about overtraining is, how do you indicate when someone is overtraining? Well, it's believed that some indications of overtraining are soreness. And it has been found that when you do train when you're sore, you can make your soreness worse. However, on the contrary, there is something called active recovery, which is interesting because active recovery is like the complete opposite of what I just said before. Basically, what active recovery means is, if something is sore, you need to train it very lightly to get blood flow pumping in the area, to have fresh blood cells, and actually has been proven to increase recovery. But I do gotta say, if you guys are doing like super heavy compound lifts, like you're doing deadlift, bench press, squat, I'm talking about like you're doing like super low reps, you're doing like 5 reps, you're pushing it to the max, it's very possible you're overtraining. Especially, that's the nice thing about hypertrophy and like higher volume training, is you can train more and you'll be building up more of a physique, and at the same time you recover way faster. Number 7, poor sleep quality. Sleep is the most powerful thing you can do for your recovery and just for your body in general. Sleep is one of those things that everyone knows they need, and however, it's one of those things I feel it's so neglected. Now, if you're struggling to fall asleep and you've tried everything, you need to see a sleep specialist, guys. Seriously, take what I'm saying seriously. If you have tried, not having your phone, an hour before bed, you've tried no caffeine 4 hours before bed, you tried not eating 4 hours before bed, you tried eliminating stress before going to sleep, you tried meditating, you tried, there's tons and tons of things you can do to improve your sleep naturally, and you've tried all those things and they're not working, you should probably see a specialist, because they're gonna fix you. The reason why sleep is so important is because sleep contributes to our hormone production. When our hormones are disturbed, testosterone levels decrease. It's literally been proven. The less sleep you have, the higher increase you have of having lower T levels. Testosterone we need for muscle production. Testosterone gives us energy. Both men and women have testosterone. However, men have higher levels, which is why, in general, why men are stronger. A lazy lifestyle. If you're listening to this and you've never picked up a single piece of weight, that's okay. Just see this as a sign. It's time to change your life, especially if you're skinny or if you're overweight. The only way you're gonna change your body is simply by starting off simple. You don't gotta start going to the gym 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Instead, just set very obtainable goals. For example, try to do 10 push-ups on your knees, just starting off, or 5. Do whatever you can do. And then do that every single day until you can eventually build up. And then once you get enough willpower and you think, I got this working out thing, then get a gym membership. You don't want to be part of that statistic of all the people that go to the gym in the beginning of the new year and then they never go for the rest of the year. They'll go for like the first month, they'll stay strong for 2 weeks, and then reality hits them and then they quit. And then it's a never-ending cycle. It just, next year they're like, okay, this year's gonna be different. Next year, this year's gonna be different. But for those of you that are listening, I just want to tell you, you don't have to wait for the new year to make a change now. You don't have to wait for the new year to make a change now. When it comes to muscle growth, as long as you're putting your muscle under load and a stimulus is being created, your muscles will grow. Lack of progressive overload. I see this all the time in certain gyms. In my old high school gym, you go there, I'd be working out at school every single day. These guys are like doing like 5 reps of bench press, and they do this every single day. All they're doing is they're using the same exact weight, and they're doing the same exact exercise. They're never increasing volume, and they're never putting on more weight. So basically what's happening is their muscle is never under stimulus, and since their muscle isn't under stimulus, their muscle fibers aren't being broken down as effectively as they could be, and because of that, they can become stronger, and their body isn't changing physically either. So to break this down, your muscles are not growing because you're not putting them under overload. There's only two ways you can add overload. You can either increase the volume, meaning you do more reps, or you increase the weight, simply meaning you put more weight on the bar, or you lift up a heavier dumbbell. Now, when it comes to me personally, I prefer higher volume. I don't know what it is. High volume is the only thing that has really been able to blow my physique. And lastly, y'all, we got number 10, chronic stress. High stress levels can, number one, they absolutely destroy a man's mental health, but they also destroy his physical health. You know, stress can interfere with your sleep, hormones, and since you're messing with your hormones, your recovery is also going to be hindered. But if you really are experiencing high stress levels, you know, there's many natural things you can do before considering seeing a doctor. You know, there's always meditation. There's things like CBD. There's centering exercises you can do. Exercises that help you feel more whole. One of the best ones to reduce stress is exercise. Because whenever we exercise, we're just making endorphins, and our body just, it's exercising in the natural ways you can just simply become happier. So that's actually a nice thing you guys should try. Next time you guys are having a bad day or in a bad mood, just try to find a reason to just start randomly exercising. For example, you can literally go on the ground and do 20 push-ups. I guarantee you're gonna feel nearly as bad as you did before. So in summary, there's only 10 reasons you can't build muscle. And since you stayed to the end of the video, you now know all the things you need to do to fix these problems. Just a real quick recap. When it comes to lack of proper nutrition, things I would recommend is try to get more fruits and vegetables. And if you really can't eat more fruits and vegetables, try to buy a supplement, such as a multivitamin. Additionally, I would suggest getting some kind of green powder, because it will have all your daily antioxidants and all the other amazing stuff you need from vegetables and fruit inside of one thing, and all you have to do is drink it. Number 2 is insufficient calorie intake. I suggest installing MyFitnessPal so you can track your calories. It's really hard to gain muscle if you're not in like meet your daily calorie intake goals if you actually don't know how much you're intaking. Inadequate protein. When it comes to protein, I would suggest a gram of protein per pound, or if you want to be more aggressive, so you're ensure that you're meeting your protein levels, I would suggest 1.4 grams of protein per pound if you are an athlete. 4 is lack of resistance training. You're just not training enough. If you want to grow, you got to go to the gym consistently. The longer you're training for, the more stimulus your body's going to need to see different results. 5 is overtraining. Your body needs time to recover. If you're not getting enough proper sleep, or you're not eating the proper nutrients, even if you're doing everything right, your body is not going to grow to its potential. 7 is poor sleep quality. Lack of sleep can result in increased stress levels, decreased hormone levels, and overall just hindered health. So if you guys can't seem to go to bed, you've tried everything you can do naturally, try seeing a sleep specialist. They'll be the best money you ever spent. Believe me, sleeping will add on years to your life. Lazy lifestyle. If you guys aren't physically active, it's going to catch up with you eventually. So if you're listening to this, it's never too late. Don't wait for the new year to make a change. Just do it today. Number 9 is like progressive overload. The best way to increase your overload is simply by adding more weight to the exercise you're doing or adding more volume. And lastly, we have high stress levels. Try meditation, exercising, or just try doing recentering exercises, and you'll feel so much better. So that's all we have, ladies and gentlemen. If you're trying to stay motivated, listen to the last episode. We dive all into motivation and the power of discipline. So thank you guys again, and I'll see you in the next one.